see. All right, JT Smith for the TFON podcast here. First episode of the season, man. I've been slacking, so I'm going to say sorry to the Bearcat fans. Hopefully, you guys have been checking out the front office news. We've been keeping you up to date on there. But I got a special guest as the Bearcats are going to start Big 12 play on Saturday. I got John Kirby of Jayhawk Slant of the On3 Network. John, how you doing today?
JT, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, man.
No problem, man. I appreciate it. I know it's late, so appreciate you giving a breakdown from the Kansas perspective for the Bearcat fans, man. And I'll try not to keep you long, but I greatly appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
Cool, man. So, John, you guys start off 3-1. You have only losses to a now top 20 team. How do you feel like the Kansas season has gone so far?
It's kind of gone, I think, as planned. Listen, they started off against Fresno State. That's not a gimme. Fresno State's one of those teams that, if you look back over past years, I think they've beaten like 19 Power Four opponents in the last 20 years. So, I mean, they're a proud program, and they're one of those teams you can't sleepwalk against, or they'll beat you. And I don't think they've lost since they've played KU. And then they, KU played Wagner, and it's hard to figure out anything from Wagner. It's kind of like Cincinnati playing their last opponent, right? I mean, you really can't take much from it. And then, like you said, they went on the road and they lost to Missouri, and Missouri is a really good football team. And I'll tell you, I'm going to kind of get ahead of myself, which surprised me on Monday. I was at the press conference, and Lance Leipold said he thinks Cincinnati will be the best team that they've seen so far. And I was like, man, over Missouri, because Missouri is really good. I mean, their front seven is a legit SEC front seven, and they've got some skill guys and an NFL running back. So a lot of compliment for Cincinnati there.
No, it is. I hope he's right. I feel like this team can do that for sure. It's just the Nebraska game, I feel like they played very well at times, especially for a tough road. We were the home team, but on the road at Arrowhead Stadium, and that Nebraska's crowd was crazy. So we'll see, man. We'll see. It's just that they played so well against Northwestern State, and that team is it's very bad. Just to not to sugarcoat it. I think I've seen some high school teams around here that are better than that group of guys. No slight to them. I'm glad they getting free rides, but it was rough. So it's kind of hard, and we had the bye week last week. So every time I watch Kansas, I'm impressed. So it's just going to be one of those games. I'm just like, man, it's a coin flip. It's definitely a coin flip for us for sure. So I'm glad to hear that the Kansas coaching staff likes what they see on tape. So I'll ask the first question, man. You guys have a lot of experience at quarterback with Jalen Daniels. Who else should the Bearcats be looking out for on Saturday, like on the offensive end?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, JT. The guy going into the season that everybody thought would be the leading rusher is Daniel Highshaw, but he's kind of been banged up. So his backup or equal to is LeSean Williams, who's a transfer from Iowa, and in 2023 he led Iowa in rushing. So I mean, he's shown he can do it at the on the big stage. And last week he ran for 120 yards and an electric touchdown run where he made a couple guys miss. So keep an eye on him. And then they've got some receivers and they went to the portal to get them. But Emmanuel Henderson is from Alabama, and he had a big kickoff return for a touchdown last week, and he can fly. He had one of the 10 fastest times recorded. On the analytics, how everybody does that. So, and they've got Cam Pickett, who's a wide receiver who's looking to get healthy. I mean, after week one, he looked like the best receiver on the team. So, but he's been struggling with his health a little bit. And then offensive line, they've kind of been coming together. They've had a little bit of ups and downs, but Bryce Foster is a center. He's a transfer from Texas A&M. I think he'll be an NFL prospect. And they've had some new guys in the line, so they're all kind of gelling and coming together right now.
Nice, nice. So new people on the line, experience at quarterback. How do you feel? I'm going to get to the defense side of the ball, but how do you feel you guys' home crowd will be a factor on Saturday? This is the Bearcats' second road game. Feel like they've got a hell of an experience, playing Nebraska, but Big 12 play their first Big 12 action. How do you feel you guys' home crowd will hopefully influence the Bearcats? Hopefully they don't influence them, but on you guys' end.
Well, listen, I've been in Arrowhead Stadium several times, okay, and that's where Cincinnati played Nebraska at. And I mean, I went back and I watched the game live, and then I went back and watched it the other day, and I mean that thing was 95% Nebraska. So
Yeah,
Cincinnati has already seen a hostile crowd, okay, because I know the Nebraska people got up for that and they traveled and they came down to Kansas City for that one.
yeah.
So I don't know that the crowd is going to face Cincinnati, but I will say the game's been sold out for about 2 weeks. I mean, they announced it 2 weeks early. So it will be a good Kansas crowd and it will be loud. It's parents weekend and that's always a pretty good turnout.
Nice, nice. Parents weekend, sold out crowd. Hey, this is what you've been spoiled a little bit as a person that has covered the Bearcats for a little over a decade. I am so happy that they're in a major conference again. Now it's P4, was P5. Um, you know, teams, you go on the road, you play a team like Kansas who has quality players, and we were in the American for a while, so we only had like one or two games that you can get the fans on board. So I'm like ecstatic that we're going to get to go somewhere where it's sold out and people are like locked in, and excited to see UC play, or see that team play, and UC's going to benefit from it. So, man, you just don't understand. It's like this is yeah, tears of joy on this one. So you know, I'm excited they'll have a sold out crowd. Hopefully, I think they'll be fine because of the first game, as far as being able to handle the crowd, but still a different animal, being a, conference game. On the defensive side of the ball, who are the Bearcats going to have to keep an eye out for? This offensive line has not given up a sack all season, which is, no matter who they play, that's a heck of a stat. But I know you got some guys that get after it, and who would the Bearcats have to make sure they put a helmet on if they're going to keep that streak alive on Saturday?
Yeah, I look at the front seven. Kansas has a really deep interior defensive line. I mean, they've got 5 or 6 guys they can rotate. And I've got to be honest with you, of those maybe top 5, you don't see a lot of drop off. I mean, lately here, some of the second string guys have looked just as good as the first string guys. A defensive end probably played his best game. Last game was Justice Finkley. He's a transfer from the University of Texas. He looked really good last week. Dean Miller is the rush end. He's more the speed guy off the edge. He was a second team all Big 12 selection last year. So up front, Kansas is pretty solid, but probably the biggest thing that they've done in the offseason is really upgrade the athleticism at linebacker. They got Trey Lathan from West Virginia. He was third on West Virginia in tackles last year. He was second on their team in tackles for a loss. He's played well every week. And then Bengali Kamara, a transfer who came from Pitt to South Carolina, now he's at Kansas. It sounds like he's back healthy, but I mean, he's a 6'3", 6'4", rangy guy who can run. So in Kansas front seven, they can be disruptive and they're physical and they fly to the ball pretty well. So the secondary kind of waiting to see. Kansas really hasn't faced anybody yet that just can sit back and throw the ball. And I know the quarterback from Cincinnati is a mobile guy; he can throw it, but he can run it too. So it'll be an interesting matchup to see what the secondary can do when Cincinnati throws it.
Nice, nice. So if you were, going to the game, would you feel like the secondary is kind of you guys' biggest question going into on Saturday?
Well, so Mason Ellis is a kid who's been getting more snaps. He's now doubtful. Dye, who's been playing one of the best quality in the secondary, he got a targeting, so he's going to be out in the first half.
Okay.
So there's some question marks going on. I mean, it's been a fairly deep secondary, but we're just going to have to kind of wait and see. There are a couple other guys on the injury report, so I'm just not sure how that's all going to look on Saturday.
Nice, nice. Of the guys overall in the injury report, I saw they released it late last night. Who are the guys that are major contributors that are on there? That you know people should be kind of keeping an eye out if they're going to play on Saturday.
Here, I'll tell you what, JT, I'm just going to do this because I did not look at the last report that just came out here about a half an hour ago.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So we got doubtful. So Mason Ellis is doubtful, the safety. So Daniel Highshaw, the running back. Devin Dye is out the first half. So, I mean, there's two safeties that play a lot of snaps that will not play at least the first half. And, I mean, if Ellis is doubtful, he's probably out. So those are the two main guys right now I see on the updated injury report tonight.
Okay, so those are big blows. If those guys aren't going to go, do you feel the guys that will be getting those snaps will be I mean, not adequate, but do you feel like they've gotten enough game action to be solid if thrown in those roles?
Oh, absolutely. They'll have Taylor Davis and Lyric Rawls from Oklahoma State, who's a transfer. Those have been the two starters, but they've been using a lot of depth. And sometimes what they do is they go 4-2-5. They run a nickel package, so that other safety is pretty big. So it's also Taylor Davis was on the injury report last night. He's the starting safety, and he is not on the one that just came out here tonight. So that's good news for the Jayhawks.
Okay. Yeah, that is. That is. Might be bad news for the Bearcats. So hopefully not. But yeah, man. Appreciate all that information. So I'm going to ask you the question you asked me on via email. What's your prediction for Saturday?
Yeah, JT, I think this is going to be a good game. I really do. When I watched Cincinnati, I still remember very clearly when KU went to Cincinnati a couple years ago and went in there and kind of beat them up. Okay,
Yeah.
and Cincinnati was in that transition phase of moving from the American to the Big 12. And it looks to me like in the last couple years, Satterfield's done a nice job of upgrading their talent. Cincinnati to me looks like they're longer, they're leaner, they're more athletic than they were 2 years ago. So they're adapting to the Big 12 play. I just think right now, and I said this on our message board about a week ago. I said, I think going forward after the Missouri game, I think Jalen Daniels is going to be the best quarterback on the field that Kansas plays the rest of their schedule. And that is such a big position. And he is such an impactful guy because he does so much with his arm and his legs. And he's been in the program 6 years. He's got a lot of leadership. I think that the crowd is going to be good. I think this is going to be a good football game. I think Cincinnati against Nebraska, I think they showed a lot. They got down. They came back. They were on the road in a hostile environment. So Cincinnati is not going to go in Lawrence and roll over. But I just think Kansas has things going right now in the right direction. So I'm going to go with the Jayhawks. I'm going to go 28-20.
I can't really argue that until the Bearcats come on the other side. I have to kind of agree. I mean, but I just think you got with Jalen Daniels, experience being at home, that's just a heck of an advantage. And I hope the Bearcats can pull off the upset. But if I was, giving my breakdown, I would think, right now I would definitely lean towards Kansas, especially with Jalen Daniels. I just feel like, he's throws the ball well, and I just think he just is such a dynamic player in a run game. And it's to see you see it's a very bend but don't break defense. They will have to be more. I think they have to be a little bit more aggressive. Maybe make Jalen a passer. I think they can make him more of a passer where he really can't run and escape. I think that'll be the best recipe for success for the Bearcats. And then hopefully they can attack that secondary, especially if you got a couple of key guys out. That'll be key to see if the last two game weeks, translates against, Kansas, a very quality opponent. So we'll see, man. I'm excited for Saturday. Um, yeah,
Well, hey,
man.
listen, you asked me about the injury report. I still think one of the biggest things is if Corleone's going to play for Cincinnati. I mean, that's one of the biggest
Oh,
things
yeah,
to watch on the injury report.
100%. He's questionable right now. I don't think I don't know if he practiced earlier in the week. I think they're just being super cautious, but yeah, he's the key, man. He's a guy that if you got a double, triple team, no matter what, and if he's not in there, it changes the dynamic of the defense for sure. So I think it'll make it a lot easier for Daniels to do what he wants and the running back to do what they want, that line, if he's not in there. So I hope he can play. I mean, he's 50-50. I'm guessing they're being a little cautious, but I would, as of right now, knock on wood, I would believe he will be a guy that's suited up, or at least trying to give it a go on Saturday, for sure. So, yeah, man, that's a huge one. I think that's the main one that's on the list of, like, it's a couple people that are in the rotation that are on there, but mainly it's Dante. That's the key guy, man. So I don't know. Do you have any more questions for me that you want to get out? Because I know I've tapped out on mine.
No, great interview, and like we said, we're going to run your story tomorrow that you did for us, and thanks for doing that Q&A.
Oh, no, no problem. Anytime. Basketball's coming around the corner, man. Hopefully, I'm excited for what the Bearcats got. I know you guys got some super talent over there, so I know we should be revisiting sooner than later, hopefully. So, uh,
Absolutely.
for sure, man. Well, John, I appreciate you. Let everybody know before you go where they can check your workout and where they can check you out on social medias.
Absolutely. It's Jayhawk Slant, and that's Slant. Yeah, that's our website, and that's our Twitter name too. So come over and check us out, and hopefully we have a good game on Saturday.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you, John, man. You have a great evening. And yeah, man, we'll on Saturday we'll probably shoot a few texts back and forth to see how the games go. I'll probably be pulling my hair out and maybe be doing the same, but that should be a pretty exciting game at noon where it'll be 11 o'clock your time, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll be there, and you shoot me any questions you got.
All right, sounds like a plan, man. Well, you have a good one, John.
All right, JT, have a good one.
All right. All right, guys. I was just joined by John Kirby. Appreciate everybody that checked that out. Um, Yeah, the Bearcats are going into their season opener, not season opener, but the Big 12 opener, against Kansas. It's a big game. It'll show if they have grown from that Nebraska game. Um, Jalen Daniels is a monster, man. He's a dual threat. That's a lot of experience. It's going to show where the defense is at. I hope Corleone can play that. That is a big thing for the Bearcats. But I want to see how this offense looks. On the road, I want to see a step. I want to see that passing game look a lot sharper again on the road, man. Because they look good on the road, look better. I say Sorsby throw for like 200 yards. He can run for 50. I feel like the running game gets going, but I need to see them throw it all over the yard. I need Cyrus. Royer needs to get the ball. I need, Caldwell to make plays. They got enough guys that can make plays. I need to see them do it on a big stage. And Kansas is going to be a big stage for the Bearcats, so we need to see that. So that's the thing. Thanks. This is the first pod that I've done this season, so sorry for the delay. I'll say that again. It's been a heck of a, few weeks, man. They had that Northwestern State game that you could pretty much punt that. That game was just fluff. They scored 1,000 points. They looked great. Everybody got to play. But now, the big boys are calling. You want to see how they look against Kansas and UCF, and I think they got Houston on the board. Those teams. You want to see how they look, man. It's go time. So, what will the Bearcats do? That's the $1 million question, man. Are they gonna, look way better than they did against Nebraska on the offensive end? Be able to throw it around the yard and run it as well. I thought they ran great against Nebraska. I thought they can run like that and then throw the ball some. They can't throw for less than 70 yards, man. They just got too much talent to throw for that amount, too. You know what I mean? I think 200 yards plus, 200 yards, well balanced. I think they got a chance. Bimba don't break, but I think they gotta make Daniels be a thrower. He's good throwing, but where he's his best, he's running. You know what I mean? So then they gotta make him control the line of scrimmage, make him be a thrower, and pressure him. And I think can't just give up. Checking it down sometimes, but we gotta, you know, break it down a little bit for him. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. And yeah, man, I'm excited for the first game of the Big 12. So I know haven't checked in a while, so I think I'll address. Basketball about to start up. Make sure you guys check out the Front Office News website and YouTube channel. Got videos up, football press conferences, basketball press conferences, one-on-ones with players. Check that out. You know, um, yeah, man. Bearcats have been off a week, so nothing to report about last week. It's me and Neil wrote a few things on the site. I had 3 observations where I, just thought what I saw in the first 3 games of the non-conference, where they kind of got to improve or see if that's going to take a step. Neil wrote his keys to the games on the site. Make sure you guys sign up for the Front Office News site. Join our what's that? Our chat. You know what I mean? Don't join the chat. Chop it up with us, man. But if y'all got questions, let me know. I know it's not been that many people on like that because shoot, I ain't been posting. I ain't been doing the pod, but I'm about to get back to it. At least once a week, man. Bit of slacking life, I guess you would say that. But if y'all got questions, let me know. Yeah, that's the thing, man. And this team, Saturday is going to show a lot. We can't have one of those we play good and lose type things. 50-50 conference. Seeing Kansas lose on the road. We've seen, Arizona State lose on the road. Teams have lost. So I feel like we've seen Baylor lose at home. So teams are beatable in this conference. I feel like the best team right now in this conference that I've seen or watched with my own 2 eyes is Texas Tech. I mean, their NIL is crazy, and I think they spent their NIL well, which is, I'm just going to keep it 100. I mean, your starting quarterback goes out and you don't miss a beat. He gets knocked out during the game and your backup comes in. I mean, I feel like you're spending your NIL well. I can't knock it, man. I'm not going to go Mike Gundy. Yeah, you got NIL and like you said, to Oregon. You got it, man. Shit, spend it. That's what it's there for. You know what I mean? Some teams got more than others, That is what it is. Can't be mad at you because you make more money than me. When you got more money to spend, that's how I go. It's the game right now. So if you got it, you spend it. If you want to win it. But hey, big Texas, I feel like it's Texas Tech and everybody else right now. Iowa State, they good, but they not explosive like I thought. You know what I mean? They just real grinded out. So you just can't. If you play a mistake-free game against them, you could beat them. You just got to be ahead because I feel like Beck makes a lot of plays at the end. He's very grizzled, but they ain't running from you. Like I don't. You got to play soft if you get blown out by them. They just not blowing people out. Arizona State got some explosiveness with the Tyson kid. He a monster. And then you got Mateer, that they used to play for UC. They both killing. Defense seems solid, but they don't seem like world beaters without Scatterboo. Quarterback is good for sure. Baylor, just gotta play good. I mean, I'm not super impressed. They're not trash or nothing, but I'm not impressed by them. Me personally, I'm not impressed by Baylor. Like, I think the Bearcats, they play right. They should be able to smack Baylor, in my opinion. I don't know if they're on the schedule or not. Yeah, they are. Oklahoma State is a dub. Like, if we lose to Oklahoma State, then it's gonna be shit. I don't know. It's gonna be a hell of a homecoming weekend for the Bearcats for sure. If they lose to they lose to Baylor, my boy, it's gonna be crazy. Can't have that. Cannot have that. Not Baylor, but Oklahoma State. Utah is good, but if you can make them just be pass oriented, their quarterback can't pass. He a hell of an athlete, but he's not the best passer. He's adequate, but he's not impressive at all when he got to throw. But if you let him run and do what he wants, like if you play soft and give him 3 to 5 yards, and him and his running back 3 to 5 yards, then you're gonna lose. But if you crush the run and you make him a passer, bro, you're gonna get a couple picks on him. He gonna make a big play here and there because he gonna stretch a play out, but he ain't impressed me. I remember him from New Mexico, but he alright, but he ain't him. Arizona, they seem solid. I ain't gonna knock it. Yeah, he seems solid. Let's see. Yeah, so that's gonna be an interesting game. BYU been solid, and then they be old. They be automatically old. They be like 40. So they pretty decent. TCU seem decent, but Big 12 as a whole is a solid conference. Ain't much fall off from top to bottom. Every game's winnable. Only team that I see right now, I feel like that's ahead of the pack, is Texas Tech. Do y'all agree or no? Just let us know in the comments, even if you watch it after the fact. But just let me know in the comments if you feel like Texas Tech is ahead of the pack, or if anybody's close to Texas Tech. I don't feel like nobody's close to Texas Tech in the Big 12 right now. That's just me. From the games I watch, man, that's how I'm rolling. That's how I'm breaking this down. So, yeah, that's where we at with it, man. Cats by 90, hopefully. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's where it's at. You got one game, boom. You get Iowa State. It's gonna be a hell of a game, but I think it's a winnable game, man. You come in there, you can't let Iowa State punch you in the mouth. But just Kansas is a key. I think you gotta make Daniels a thrower. That's my thing. Make him a thrower. He is a capable thrower. But if he gets to run and do what he wants, then it's gonna be a long day for the Bearcats. If you can make him one-dimensional, then I think you got a strong chance of pulling off an upset. They're beatable. They're beatable, man. Everybody on the schedule is beatable. But if they can start off 1-0 in the Big 12, it's better than 0-1. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm excited to see how this game goes. It's gonna be on TNT at noon Eastern time, 11 o'clock Central time. We'll see what happens, man. Let's see. Let's just talk about that. We got games on TNT. They need to have like Kenny and Chuck call it, even though they probably don't know nothing about the game. That'd be fire. Messing up Swordsby's name and shit, Corleone's name. They messing up everybody's name. They probably mess up Satterfield's name. To do that, boom, that'd be fire. But that's it, man. Make sure you guys check out the Front Office News. Make sure y'all subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, man. Shout out to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to it, please, please, please. We like at 533. We're trying to get to 1,000 slowly but surely. But come rock with us. That's free. You sign up for the site. That's gonna cost. I think it's a free sign up too. But then just sign up. It's only $10 a month, man. Come rock with us. We out here trying to give out good stuff, But we're gonna be more consistent, man. I'm gonna be more consistent. Give me next week. I'm gonna lock in. Do it once a week, man. So yeah. I'm JT Smith, and I'm signing out.